Awesome. Get my screen shared. Perfect. Once again, thank you so much for joining. I am Coach Kyra, and at the moment, I'm trying to get us on the screen so that you can get the recording of this conversation today. How to maintain your progress while you are away, traveling, having visitors, fill in the blank for the holidays. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Hello. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. Hopefully you have some things that you can celebrate from this week. Some small wins are wins nonetheless. And when we ask you all to share your victories for the week, it does a couple of things. One, it keeps us engaged in your process. We want to know what's going well for you. But then two, it's also a mental activity for yourself, right? When you have to kind of sort through the past week and think about the things that have happened and think about the progress that you've made and try to find those small victories, even if you haven't made the big sweeping changes that you think you might have wanted to make by now on your journey. Wednesday is a really good opportunity to do some reflection. So thank you so much for being here with me on a Wednesday. Today we are talking about how to maintain your progress while it's holiday season, right? So many of us are either traveling or hosting family. Food will be involved. And so we want to talk about how to mitigate that as best as possible. So I have two parts that I want to talk about. So if you want to take a moment to get some notes out, maybe open up notes in your phone, this will be a really good opportunity to just kind of get some ideas down on paper or get some ideas written out about what it looks like to do this effectively over the holiday season. And ultimately what we want to do is maintain your progress. Okay, so I'm going to take a very slow route through this. I'm going to upload this video to the YouTube channel so that you have access to this, but nonetheless, hopefully this is helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the chat function. I'll see that pop up while I'm delivering this conversation today. All right. First things first, let's talk about what not to do over the holidays. Okay. Some things that might cause more harm than help in most cases when we think about the holiday season. One is treating Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner like the only time you'll have a cooked meal. One of my clients told me that today was, hey, there are other soul food restaurants at which I can get mashed potatoes and gravy, right? There are other places where I can enjoy the types of food that I'll have for Thanksgiving. That's number one. The number two is because this isn't the only time that you'll have this meal, there will be leftovers. There will be time to indulge in these foods a little bit later on in the week. You don't have to eat all of it at once, right? Don't treat this like this is the only opportunity that you'll have to enjoy this food. And that small mental shift might be something that keeps you from overreacting when it's time to have Thanksgiving dinner. So something that might cause you more harm than good is one, thinking that this is the only time this year you're going to be able to have Thanksgiving food. It's not true. All right. You'll have leftovers. You can get multiple plates. It's not your only, you don't have to pile up your plate 6 inches high, right? Treat this like something that you'll get to enjoy over the course of the week, okay? Something else, number two, that might cause you some more harm than good is not being prepared outside of Thanksgiving dinner. If your family is anything like mine, you will wake up, you might, fingers crossed, have breakfast that day. But outside of that, your next meal is going to be Thanksgiving dinner. So if you're not prepared, right, and you're building up this hunger throughout the day, what we want to actually do is kind of stay within our realm of control as best we can, or stay close to what we're already doing in terms of our meal schedule. On Thanksgiving Day, things shouldn't really be too much different in terms of the time that you eat that day, right? Thanksgiving dinner is just dinner. You still need to have breakfast, lunch, and your protein shakes that day. So it is your responsibility to be prepared the day of, the week of Thanksgiving. You still need to have your regularly scheduled plan in place Thanksgiving week, number two. Number three, stop thinking that Thanksgiving week is a week off from your plan. Thanksgiving dinner is technically one meal. And so this goes back to point number one. Yes, you will have an opportunity to repurpose some of these foods throughout the next few days, but set in your mind a timeline of how many days you're going to allow yourself to repurpose some of these foods. How many days will you allow yourself to have pecan pie? How many days are you going to allow yourself to have peach cobbler? How many days will the sweet potato pie still be in the house? How many days will you get to have the candy yam? How many days will you get to have the macaroni and cheese? Okay. When you have this conversation, this limitation in your mind about how much you're going to allow yourself to do, right? Thanksgiving dinner doesn't need to stretch out for 2 weeks, right? Maybe you give yourself 3 days where I can enjoy these things. And after that, I'm back on my plan. Okay. So think about those 3 things. One, don't sensationalize the moment, right? You're going to be able to have access to this. Okay. Two is not being prepared. Make sure that you come to the week, you come to the table having still had some semblance of normalcy throughout your week. And then three is not having a deadline, not having a bracket of time where you're going to allow yourself to indulge and enjoy these off track, if you will, foods. Okay. So then let's talk about what to do when life happens in the following situations. How to stay on track and prepare for the week. All right. So I started with that. Number one, how do you need to prepare for the week? We'll talk about that here in just a second. What to do when life happens, when you get invited to Friendsgiving, when somebody stays over for a little bit longer than usual. What do you do with social events? What do you do about alcohol? What do you do about desserts? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about some tricks and some hacks for when you're traveling. Okay. Some of us are going to be on the road. And so we need to know what we can pull from, which locations, which fast food restaurants are going to have our best chance of making a sound nutritional choice when we're on the road. And then finally, we'll talk about something called non-negotiables. And non-negotiables allow you some flexibility, allow you to deviate or cheat from your plan in a way that doesn't even feel like cheating or deviation because you already planned for it. Okay. So this is where we're headed over this series. All right. So I'll start with the first maybe 2 or 3 today, and we'll continue with the rest of the series in part 2. Let me pause right here. Any questions so far about the 3 things that can throw you off if you're not prepared? Feel free to drop those down in the comments section below. All right. Preparation. When you are preparing for the holiday season, you're preparing for Christmas Eve, or you're preparing for Thanksgiving dinner, you want to do a couple of things. You want to make sure that a couple of things are true. First things first, let's think about your nutrition strategy for that week. As we talked about in every call we've had up until this point, we have these macronutrients that are really important: our proteins, our carbohydrates, and our fats. Okay. Proteins, kind of self-explanatory, right? Carbohydrates are fruits, our vegetables, our starches. And then fats are our nuts and seeds, our oils, and avocados as well. Okay. Butter and cheese fit into that. So then at minimum, we want to ensure that we have 2 of our protein sources prepped for that week. 2 protein sources. Okay. My best recommendation is find 2 protein sources that you can easily prepare and just have readily available for you to choose from the week of Thanksgiving. You think, okay, I need to eat lunch on Thanksgiving Day, but everybody's in my kitchen and I need to stay out the way. Some ground turkey and some broccoli already on hand goes a really long way, right? Some chicken breast and some green beans go a really long way. Okay. We want to keep it simple by having those 2 proteins already prepared the week of or the day of this big holiday meal that you're going to be having. Then we want to have 2 carb sources prepared as well. Okay. I saw somebody comment, we need to know the difference between good and bad carbs. Here's a great thing. As long as the carbs come from Earth, right? If it came from planet Earth, if you can pick it, plow it, pull it from the ground, pick it from a tree, it's generally great for you. Okay. It doesn't matter what color it is. Generally great for you. Brown potato, red potato, sweet potato, sour potato, doesn't matter. They're great for you. Okay. Even the carbohydrates that are processed, right? We think candy, cake, cookies, chips, pasta, fill in the blank, those things have their place in your nutrition plan as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in this case, we're talking about whole food, unrefined, as close to their natural occurrence as possible, carbohydrates. You want to have 2 proteins and 2 carbohydrates prepared for your week. Okay. So then what do those 2 carbohydrates look like? Again, You can go back to your sweet potatoes. You can go back to your regular potatoes. Maybe you have some brown rice on the side. Maybe you have some quinoa. Maybe you have white rice. Maybe you have pasta. Doesn't really matter. 2 proteins, 2 carbs prepared for that week. 1 vegetable prepared for that week. Green beans, cauliflower, spinach, asparagus, fill in the blank. 2 proteins, 2 carbs, 1 vegetable prepared for the week of Thanksgiving. And then you want to have 2 to 3 healthy snacks in rotation. So we think about what are healthy snacks. You can go for nuts and seeds in terms of your healthy snacks. You can go for fruit in terms of your healthy snacks, okay? 2 proteins, 2 carbs, 1 veggie, 2 to 3 healthy snacks in rotation during the week of your Thanksgiving travels, okay? That being shared, just want to remind, hello, everyone who's new joining in. I am recording this so that I can upload this to our upload this to our YouTube channel so that you can watch the recording if you missed the beginning, okay? Second piece, what do we do when life is happening, right? When life just starts lifing, plans change, accidental cousin is coming, and oh my goodness, my in-laws decided that they're driving down. What do we do when life starts happening during the season and social gatherings start to pick up? Okay, first things first. You remember when your mama told you not to go over there acting like you didn't eat today? Remember that? This is how we want to behave during the holiday season as well, okay? Eat ahead. If you know you have somewhere to go, you have a social gathering and it's at this bar, or it's at my friend's house and she can really cook, make sure that you have had your healthy prepared meals in advance of this social gathering, okay? Step 1, eat before you go, okay? Your mama had a good idea when she told us this as kids, okay? The second piece is, if you have to go outside somewhere, so you're thinking a restaurant, you're thinking fast food, you're on the go, fill in the blank. We want to follow something called the 5-3-1 principle. Okay, and I made this up. 5-3-1. 5 restaurants, 3 items, 1 fun food. Okay, 5 restaurants, 3 items that you can choose, 1 fun food that is permissible in those 3 items, okay? So what would this look like following the 5-3-1 strategy if I'm traveling and have to get something on the road? Life has happened. Yes, I have my food prepared, but somebody's called me over to their house for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna try to eat ahead. I need to stop somewhere. I'm gonna follow 5-3-1. 5 restaurants. Let's just name a few. Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Cava, Panera. I don't know. One last one might be like Jersey Mike's, something like that. Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Cava, Panera, Jersey Mike's, just to fill in the blank, okay? I have these 5 restaurants, and from these 5, I can choose 3 items when I get there. So let's just go to Chick-fil-A, okay? I can choose 3 items. I can go nuggets, fries, milkshake, but then that doesn't take into account the 1, right? Because I only get 1 fun food while I'm traveling, okay? 3 items can be then a grilled chicken sandwich, a fruit salad, and a cookie. There's my 1 fun item. Or I might go to Cava. I'll get a salad. I'll get, what else do we get from Cava? I'll get a salad with some falafel, and maybe I'll get a little brownie or something at the end. Or I'll do a wrap with a carbonated drink, and I'll have a cookie at the end, right? So this is how we want to start to think about it. 2 of the items that I order are kind of tracked with my nutrition plan, and 1 of them gets to be flexible. Okay, 5, 3, and 1. And then finally is the essentials plate strategy. When you get to this place, of course, you're going to get there, you're going to eat, that's fine. But because you ate ahead, you're already in good position. But when you get there, we want to think about the essential plate strategy. That is, I want to have 1 plate that is strictly dedicated to my nutrition, and another plate that is strictly dedicated to my enjoyment of this moment, okay? We know that food is a multifaceted experience, right? Food has the fun aspect, it has the social aspect, but food also has the functional aspect of simply helping us to live, right? So what we want to do when we arrive to these places is, first, you want to eat for the function of your body first. That is your primary protein, and that is your vegetable on your first plate, okay? So you're imagining your first plate when you get to this place, it has your protein and it has your vegetable and nothing else, okay? So maybe I have my turkey and I have some salad, or I have my grilled chicken and I have some green beans or greens, right? My first plate is simply dedicated to getting full on the real stuff that's going to nourish me for my day. The second plate is going to be the stuff that's fun. The macaroni and cheese, the desserts, fill in the blank. That's when I get to enjoy that stuff. And now, one, because you ate ahead. Two, because your first plate was focused on protein and vegetables. When you get to this treat plate, if you will, it's automatically going to be smaller, right? You automatically are not going to be able to consume all of what you could have consumed simply because you've already gotten full on the real stuff. And that's the objective. Place your needs, place your goals in the forefront of these experiences over the holidays, okay? There are easy, simple ways. And once again, I'll upload this video so you can go back and make sure that you have some of these initial ways to do that. But it's very important for you to stay mentally engaged with your goals over the holiday season. In addition to that, though, it's the holiday season. So you have the freedom and flexibility to enjoy in a way that feels good to you, okay? Enjoy in a way that allows you to maintain your progress toward the goal, okay? So that being shared, I have 3 more points, but I'm going to share those 3 more points, alcohol being 1 and non-negotiables being 2. I think I have 1 more. Oh, and getting back after it after you fall off. We'll talk about those 3 things in our next call: alcohol, non-negotiables, and getting back to it after you fall off the wagon. All right, we'll talk about that at the top of December. If you have any questions, I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this conversation. I hope it was helpful for you. And let me stop recording so I can get this uploaded for you. I hope y'all have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll talk to you really, really soon. I'll hang out for a couple more minutes to answer any questions that you have.